What's going on, my friend? In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on exactly how we scaled my client Anton here from 0 to over 100K cash collected in a single month, just 90 days after getting started working together. And by implementing our process, the seductive marketing strategy, he was able to turn his audience here from 0 into over 100K per month coaching business. So first things first here, you can see Anton obviously has 17K followers. Now, every single week, almost, I speak to guys that might have 17, 10, or even 200K followers, and they're flat broke. They're still in a 9 to 5 because they're missing some of the core elements required to turn an audience into a pool of buyers. Now, frankly, that was also the case with Anton, because before he started, he didn't have a single online high-ticket client. But the great thing is, this guy is an executor, a go-getter, and less than 48 hours after signing up, there you can see, boom, first high-ticket sale, 4.2K total, okay? So Anton signed up on the 8th of March. Before he signed up, as I said, no high-ticket coaching offer, no real clarity on his niche, no lead gen systems, no sales systems. One thing he did have was an audience, that this guy was an action taker. One thing I'd really like to highlight here, Anton has a separate business, okay? Anton has mentored with Joe Dispenza, he's mentored with Ed Milet, he's mentored with Tony Robbins, okay? He's worked with all these people, they've been clients of his, but still had the humility to realize that there was parts of this puzzle when it comes to building an online coaching business that he didn't have figured out. In fact, people like Anton understand that the most talented people in the world, if it's a Mike Tyson, he had custom auto. If it's Cristiano Ronaldo, would he have been the #1 footballer, soccer player in the world? See, talent or information, knowledge, capability is only one piece of the puzzle. Without guidance, we don't get very far. And Anton is the kind of person who had achieved a lot, but he still knew that he needed help. He still knew that by getting help, he could navigate this whole thing so much faster. And that's exactly what happened, right? Before working together, 0 high-ticket clients. After working together, not even after, in less than 90 days, over 100K cash collected inside a single month. I think it was less than 15 or 20 days into working together, he'd already done his first 10K cash. Okay, so first 10K cash, that's a result, right? In a single month, first 10K cash month, that's a result that most online coaches never get. Another result that they'll never get is 100K months. He did both of these things in less than 90 days after signing up. Most people will never get support because their ego holds them back and they just stay lost. Anton, great mindset. He set a fucking balls. He was willing to back himself. He took himself serious enough to invest, okay? And he had this go-getter mindset, like really driven guy. And when he got started, he was like a bat out of hell, right out the gate. He was an executor, okay? So the first thing that we decided to execute upon was that this is like a high-ticket price point. He knew that he could really help people. He was serious, but he only wanted to work with people who were also serious. So we decided to commit to that 5K price point and really go in on working with serious people that are willing to invest. Okay, and as you can see here, first sale, 48 hours after signing up. Okay, moving forward here, Anton came on board, all in mindset. He paid in full, soaked up all the principles and the actual strategies like a sponge, and executed. Super highly teachable, very highly coachable guy, but with equal parts wanting to understand and wanting to execute. So before even signing up, he had already started implementing things that we covered on the coffee chat. Okay, and that is what it means to execute like a savage. And the results of that, as we talked about here, 71K cash shown in Stripe, plus these other big 25K sales were broken up and done via Zella and PayPal. But there's some more screenshots. High ticket price point, as we said. So one of the big pieces here, aside from just the mindset and the high ticket price point, is everything here to do with the seductive marketing. So most people, they try to implement attraction-based marketing, and they try to implement magnetic marketing, where they're just going to sit back, put out this like cool content, hoping it's going to magnetize their ideal client. But what they don't realize is that you, as the business owner, you are the man. You are in the masculine. And as a result, you must take the first step. We are in the masculine. We must act. We cannot expect the woman, or in this case, the prospect, to approach you. And this is what I see time and time again. See, we could have a very attractive message. Just like in the dating context, we could be a highly attractive man. But if we don't take action, we will not get results. Okay, so seductive marketing, what's it all about? It's about powerful positioning, powerful attraction with all of these elements here, but balancing that by actually taking action, by approaching our prospects, so to speak, with powerful CTAs and proven DM strategies and systems. Okay, so when we work with clients, we actually map all this stuff out, done for you. Okay, so how we do this and how we did this in Anton's case, the first day, second day on sign up, he goes ahead and completes this foundational copy with support. Okay, so he goes through a series of questions as part of the onboarding process, which allows me to really understand your ideal client. And then by week 2, you have this turned out finished item. And this is actually the exact script I did build for Anton to help him, or to get him up to that 100K month mark. Okay, so this is one of the most important principles when it comes to outreach, right? When it comes to DMs, and frankly, when it comes to everything relating to sales. Okay, so it's the idea of a commitment ladder. Okay, so the way things normally work in the development of any relationship, typically dating context, we don't jump right to marriage. Typically, it's going to be like, girl looks at guy, or guy looks at girl, and the other party reciprocates. Then it's going to be like guy approaches girl, asks name, girl reciprocates. Okay, so then they get into like talking, and then dating, and then being exclusive, and then marriage. So it's increasing commitments. What would be a complete failure would be if the guy went up to the girl and asked for sex, or directly for a date, or directly to be exclusive, or for marriage. Even if this is your ideal partner, even if this is the woman that you end up marrying, to go for a very high commitment decision like that, a high commitment ask, it's just going to frighten the person. It's just going to cause resistance. And as we're in the DMs, or even on a sales call, our whole philosophy is to try and reduce resistance by baby stepping commitment. Okay, we want to get micro yeses along this process. Okay, a second core principle here is the hook point. Okay, so we want to hone in on a bottleneck, or a set of pains or problems that the prospect has, but we can't ask blank canvas questions. So a lot of people probably hit you up in the DMs and they're like, hey bro, how's business? Okay, how's business? Or hey man, so what's holding you back from achieving that? These are blank canvas, open-ended questions. This forces the prospect to think, and they're not on Instagram to think. Thinking costs calories, and the more calories they have to use to answer your question, the less likely they are to respond. So we always want to make it either or questions, like you can see with my example here. So I'm not going to show you Anton's examples because I built that out privately for him. I can't give the exact pieces away, but this is something we do implement ourselves. So instead of an open-ended question like, hey man, so what's the biggest challenge holding you back from growing your business? We'd ask, okay, so, what would be your biggest issue then? Is it everything to do with lead gen and booking qualified calls? Or is it really more about closing high ticket and dealing with objections at this point? Okay, prospect 9 times out of 10 says that their issue is leads. Okay, so this is an example of a hook point question here. And the whole point of it is to build buy-in, to hone in on a problem, and we're going to use that problem to justify the call. So when the prospect says that leads is his issue, We're going to add to that by being like, well, look, it's tough to close, it's tough to grow a business if we're not getting calls, or it's tough to close clients if we're not getting calls. Ha ha. For context though, how many calls are you getting a month? Like 25 plus or nowhere near that? Okay. And when the prospect says nowhere near that, we're going to be like, ooh, ouch. Okay. So clearly you got to get that handled. Well, normally, man, we do 60-minute consults with prospects, but if you want, we can get you on a 15-minute chat in the coming days, and we'll look at the exact lead gen strategies that are working for us and our clients. Does that sound good to you? So this is the reverse pitch, also the hook point. We've identified that bottleneck. We use that bottleneck to justify the call. And further, like we talked about with commitment, we stepped down the commitment by not going for the strategy session, which they know is a sales call. We're instead going and positioning for the coffee chat. And we've framed it in the prospect's best interest. Okay, so these are two really important concepts and some further bonus points here. But all of this stuff regarding lead gen, it's too much to get into right now because this is all about Anton's transformation. Go to salescaled.com/leads. There's probably a link below this video or somewhere around here, and you can get access to our lead gen scripts and templates, plus a 12-minute video that walks you through the process, tailoring that specifically for your offer, your niche, and your ideal clients. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that now. But proceeding on with the video, this was everything to do with the seductive marketing, both positioning, but the action pieces as well, was game changer for Anton. Now, something further was this distinction between money now and money later tasks. I see all of the time guys will have no revenue coming into their business. Maybe they're in a position like Anton was before, and they'll decide that they need to build a lead magnet, right? Or they want to start a newsletter, or they're going to start a school community. All of these sorts of things. See, the issue with that, it's like if we're in a tribe, okay, and we have no food tonight. It's great to plant seeds, but if we need to eat tonight and this week, planting those seeds isn't going to put food on the table. That's good for next winter. But what about right now? And right now is the money now activities. So tip of the spear here is your sales calls, your coffee chats, then follow up in the DMs, outreach in the DMs, CTAs and content. Okay, but so often I see guys that they put content at the top of this list. Okay, if you put out 10 reels today, you're not getting a client. If you do 10 or 50 or 100 DMs, you can absolutely get a client by the end of the week. It's Thursday as I shoot this video. If you were to do that, following these processes, it can lead to clients that quickly. And that's why these things of your DMs and your CTAs are the money now activities, okay? Super, super important to create that distinction. If you need cash flow now, right, focus on money now activities. If you're at a stage in your business, right, and for example, Anton did transition to this place, we want to keep our attention on both. We want to keep cash flow coming in, and we also want to build the empire. We want to build those money later systems. The thing that we just covered is what's responsible to get Anton from 0 up to 10, 20, and 30K months. But beyond that, what we actually went ahead and did was I trained and managed a setter that we placed in his business. So that meant that Anton could really focus on just the sales calls, his content, and some of the strategy stuff, while all of the day-to-day lead generating tasks like the DMs were taken care of. Further, we trained that setter to actually take those coffee chats or the triage calls. And what that meant was every time that Anton jumped on a sales call, it was with somebody who he knew had been very thoroughly financially qualified. And that, outsourcing those tasks, allowing him to focus on the big pieces in the business, is what really allowed him to tip over that 100K mark and really hit these next level highs and highs. Okay, so lesson for yourselves, guys, depending where you're at in the business, you want to focus on those money later activities. If you've got that consistent cash flow, if you're consistently already doing 10, 20K months, but if you're not at that point, focus on those money now activities. Okay, so again, when we covered those money now activities, we talked about these right here. So we talked about your CTAs, your outreach, your follow-up, your coffee chats, your sales calls. Okay, so everything else like building out a school community or an email list, that's all going to be money later stuff. Okay, and frankly, in the case of Anton, doesn't have a school community, doesn't have an email list, barely has a website, doesn't have a VSL, all this other money later stuff we kept in the later category. But what we did do is all of the money now stuff that we looked at. And once we had proof of concept that all that was working is when I went ahead and trained and managed a setter that we placed in his team. So we started to build out the team element. Okay. And if you feel like you can benefit from this same level of transformation, if you see certain aspects of Anton's story that resonate with yourself, if you want to get support to do these same sort of numbers yourself, reach out to me directly on Instagram, or, there's probably a link below this video. Go ahead and get a call booked in. Further, right, if you want to do exactly what Anton did, which was get onto that call having implemented some of these systems, go to salesskills.com/leads and actually grab those DM templates so you can start implementing these pieces before we even get on a call. Okay. So my friend, that is everything that I wanted to cover in this video today. I hope you learned some lessons. Again, there's all of this strategy stuff, but the thing that really makes the difference is this mindset. Okay. It's humility, knowing that to achieve incredible things, you do need support. And then it was execution. Okay, the strategy, all that's really important, but having the humility to actually get support and execution are really massive needle movers. So if you're in a place that you're in overwhelm, okay, or you're trying all this different stuff and none of it seems to be working, get that support, get that clarity, and execute. Okay. Cheers.